The subject line read, "Congrats to Kevin on his well-earned promotion." Just that. 2 lines inside. No warning. No conversation. No explanation. I stare at the screen, not in shock. I'd seen it coming. But to absorb the stillness. I didn't shout. Didn't throw anything. I closed the laptop, rose from my chair, walked into the restroom, locked the door behind me, and breathed. Kevin, my wife's cousin. The guy who couldn't draft a decent email, but could spend hours raving about fantasy football. Promoted. My position. Given by my father-in-law. My boss. Her family. A neat little triangle of loyalty that no longer included me. I said nothing. That night, I stayed silent. At home, at work, even Kevin. I showed up the next day like everything was normal. Clear my task list. Zero my inbox. Then I began tugging on threads. The joint investment? He didn't know I'd been quietly bankrolling it. Me, not his golden boy son-in-law. I liquidated my portion without a word. Then there was the startup Kevin pitched to his country club circle, using me to legitimize it. What he didn't know was I held 51% through a silent LLC. Dissolved, gone. Not a battle. Just precision. I stopped going to family dinners. Muted group texts. Let the silence grow. My wife didn't ask. Not at first. 3 weeks passed before their discomfort began to show. "Hey, are we still good for quarterly transfer?" My brother-in-law asked. "Can you resend the partnership docs?" Kevin emailed, casually ignoring the company no longer existed. Then my wife tried. "You've been quiet. Dad says you're still upset. Don't let work come between us." As if it was about work. Still, I said nothing. Then came the attempt to smooth things over. Her father called. "Son, promotions are tricky. Don't take it personally. Kevin just connects with people better. You've always been more of a lone wolf." Lone wolf. Sure. The same lone wolf who ran 3 departments and mentored half the team. I didn't laugh. I just listened. Said I understood. He relaxed. Thought that was the end. It wasn't. Then came a letter from my grandfather's lawyer. A clause buried in the will, one I never knew about. It only activated if I was betrayed by those meant to protect me. His words, not mine. Along with that clause came access. Control over financial channels that quietly propped up 2 of my father-in-law's biggest ventures through layered shell partnerships. One was the funding behind the new company wing. Gone. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Not out of joy, but because finally everything aligned. The next morning, I typed my resignation. Simple. Clean. I dropped it on his desk, face down. He glanced at it and chuckled. "About time," he said, flipping the paper. Then his eyes caught the final line. Asterisk effective immediately. As agreed, all IP I contributed is withdrawn under clause 6.3. All financial ties terminated. Legal confirmations attached. Asterisk. He looked up. "Is this a joke?" I just nodded, then left. They had made their choice. Within a week, the cracks appeared. Vendors backed out. Contracts stalled. Shareholders got nervous. The intellectual property they thought belonged to the firm? It was mine, clearly stated in the fine print. The product's foundation, the core architecture. They never even noticed. My wife called that night. Her voice trembled. "We need to talk." I let the call ring. She showed up at my new apartment 2 days later. Brought a pie like we were in a sitcom. Smiled like nothing had shattered. "We all made mistakes," she said. "Family is complicated. Maybe it's time we move on." I offered her tea. We sat for 15 minutes. Then I handed her an envelope. Divorce papers. Signed. Prenup upheld. No settlements. No fights. I wasn't there to destroy anyone. Just to stop carrying people who never earned the weight I bore for them. Months passed. Her father left voicemails. His voice thick with apologies dressed up as favors. "We need your expertise. The board's asking about you. We should have handled things differently." I listened. Once. Then deleted them all. They brought olive branches. But I had planted new trees in better soil. Built something stronger. Something clean. No more ghosts in the hallways. No more pretending at family gatherings. No more smiles that meant nothing. Betrayal is an art. But revenge? Revenge is discipline. It's not about rage, it's about clarity. I gave them everything. They chose pride, so I gave them silence. And silence, earned, deliberate silence, is louder than vengeance. I didn't win. I walked away. And that's power they'll never understand.